Greg Montgomery to punt.
It was something that had never happened in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Vernon Turner back deep.
After 18 seasons, 284 games,
45-50, we could see history.
Turner 40, look out! One man to beat. 40.
their first ever punt returned for a touchdown.
5 touchdowns.
It was an unlikely play made by an even unlikelier player, Vernon Turner.
It all stemmed from the promise I made to my mother to keep the family together.
Turner is the eldest of 5 siblings. Born in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, his grandmother was the head of the household.
I mean, it was a crap load of cousins living at my grandmother's house, and then my mom lived there, but she was hardly there. I didn't understand it at the time. She was like a glow of light. You had no choice but to love her. Unfortunately for me, there was a disconnect. I only saw spurts of her greatness. My mom, when she was out all those nights, she was out prostituting, and she was a heavy drug addict.
Jacqueline met a man, Sam Maturi, and abruptly moved Vernon and his younger brother Jamel from Brooklyn to Staten Island.
And that was when the first phase of my life adjusted.
Sam and Jacqueline bore 3 children together: Charlene, Brian, and Ellen.
She was nurturing. She did some good stuff that I remember, but I do also remember her being sick, so.
She was still on the drugs. I never actually saw her do it until age 11. She called me in the bathroom, and she said that she wanted me to see her do this. She made me make a promise to her that if anything were to ever happen to her, that it was my responsibility to keep us together under one roof.
That's a heavy-duty thing to leave on someone, a child.
And she proceeded to tell me that when she was coming home from school at age 18, 2 guys grabbed her and they brutally attacked her. They gang raped her. A couple of weeks later, she's pregnant. And that moment on, I knew that I was the walking, talking reminder. So, that moment on, that was the moment I started feeling like trash. I needed an escape.
Turner's escape was less than a mile away, a local park where he'd play tackle football. But the game of football didn't win him over until he discovered sweetness.
I saw one of the best running backs ever to lace up a pair of cleats. He ran with anger. He ran with a vengeance. Walter Sweetness Payton ran the way I felt. I don't think I would have selected football if it wasn't for the circumstances of my life.
Inspired by Walter Payton, Turner earned a spot on Curtis High School's team.
I was excited. I couldn't believe it. I was 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing. 15 years old, make varsity. I rushed home and I opened the door and I'm like, Mom, I made varsity, I made varsity. And she proceeded to tell me that I didn't make anything. I didn't do the dishes and I didn't make the bed. I said, but we start training next week. I said, you're not training anything. You're on punishment. I just shook my head. No. I went in my room. And I went on the side of the bed and I put my elbows to the bed, side of the bed, and I put my hands together and I prayed that she would die. And 72 hours later, she died. She was gone. I thought I murdered my mother, and I would die to bring her back.
Reeling from the loss of his mother, Vernon continued to care for his siblings, and he began to care much more for Sam.
Dynamics changed with my dad. I realized Sam Maturi loved Jacqueline Murph, loved her unconditionally.
Vernon began to channel his energy into becoming a better son and a better football player.
The more I was engaged in football, the less I thought about my other world.
His idol was Walter Payton. He loved running the ball. 83, 84, 85 were three good years for Curtis. And he put us on the map because he was magic with the ball. He could run, elude, and he was tough. He'd call you out and ram you.
Many doubted whether Turner was big enough to play college football. Carson Newman University thought otherwise.
I was excited. Coach Oliveri comes to me, he says, V, we got a hit. Carson Newman, Jefferson City, Tennessee, you're gonna play running back. Running back.
Vernon Turner finished his high school career having proved that he was gifted with the football in his hands.
I got a film from his high school coach. I remember looking at the film, and it looked like the offensive lineman would snap the ball back to Vernon and then turn around and watch him, because he was such a dynamic wow, wow, wow all over the field.
Turner made an immediate impact at Carson Newman University.
I felt like I had something to prove. I wanted to prove my toughness.
He would get that opportunity to prove his toughness, but it wouldn't come during a football game.
I see a receptionist come down the stairs.
And I took Vernon up to the office and made him call home.
And my brother Jamel, he was also the one that told me that, Dad died.
I broke down. They told me about my dad. Sorry. Because we were so close, so. And then we had no parents, so it was hard that day.
Having to feel the pain of loss all over again, Turner had some decisions to make.
I turned to Coach and said, Coach, I got to go home. He said, okay, we got you set up. Got you set up.
My biggest fear was he wouldn't come back.
The only thing that came to my mind was the promise that my mom made me give her. It's your responsibility to keep the kids together.
I said, you got to get back there. He wanted to call the coach, say he wasn't returning. I said, no, I'm taking you back. You're going back to there, and it'll work out here. And it did work out. An aunt came into the picture and said, I'll stay while Vernon's at college.
When he came back, he was ready to go, and he worked hard.
Vernon Turner and Robert Thomas are running back, and there goes Vernon Turner on the first play of the ball game, and he might go the distance. On the first play, Turner goes 80 yards, and Carson Newman leads this ball game.
He was just an outstanding athlete. Vernon's one of those kids that could very easily have been bypassed because of his size, but his speed and ability made your eyes open up.
In his 4 years at Carson Newman, Turner won 3 national championships.
And Vernon Turner has been named as the game's most valuable offensive player. He gets his dream of gaining 1,250 yards in dedication to his mother and father.
Football's always been something that I wanted to do. Every kid has the aspirations of playing at the highest level, and I was one of those kids. But just to be honest with myself, I never thought in a million years that I had the skill.
He was a running back from an NAIA school and was about 5'9" and ran mid 4.5s, which for a running back is not great speed. And even though they went to the national championship, he didn't have any NFL grade at all.
Despite the unlikely prospect of him reaching the NFL, Turner signed a contract to join the Buffalo Bills to play on their practice squad.
We were excited. I was jumping up and down. We were so excited.
And I went to the same bathroom that my mom made me promise. To keep them together. Sat on that toilet. I looked up. I said I did it. Just like that. family stayed together. First 3 years in the league, sent everybody, all my money home. We built a house, paid it off, took care of the family. We all stayed in one room.
Vernon Turner willed himself a 6-year NFL career.
Throws a Turner over the middle to 15, racing to the 10, the 5, dives for the end zone. Touchdown, Rams!
My NFL career was improbable.
I met Vernon before I had a chance to really coach him. He was playing in Detroit, and I had an opportunity to meet Vernon prior to the game, told me he was doing a great job. I continued to do that and did not have any clue that in about 3 weeks we would be on our football team.
After stops in Buffalo, Los Angeles, and Detroit, Vernon got an opportunity in Tampa and a chance to do what no Buck had ever done before.
The wind was going. I'm under the ball, and I'm going back and forth, waving just to stay under the ball. And again, I never look down like I normally do, because I'm catching this ball, and I'm not fair catching.
And once Vernon caught the football and started to come to his right, I immediately looked down the field, and I saw that right side of the boundary open. And I'm saying, if he can just get through the first block. And then he started high-stepping. I'm saying, oh my God, this man is high-stepping, he's Walter Payton. He starts to point. He's pointing out blocks. And I started to realize to myself, this could be a touchdown.
Pointing at him. Get the kicker, get the kicker.
It's the kick away into that wind, and it sails. Vernon Turner back middle, and he'll field to the 20. Comes to the near side, got a block down there. High step into the 25, to the 30, down the sideline, 35, 40, 45, 50. We could see history. 40, 35, 30. He's to the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Punt return, history!
Special teams coach George Stewart almost beat me in the end zone. That cat was hitting it on the sidelines. I'm like, damn, I mean, I didn't even get a chance to finish my pose, you know?
The first return for a touchdown in Tampa Bay history. That's the first time they've ever done it. You're kidding. That's the first punt return for a touchdown in history. 80 yards. Wow.
And that was a moment, man, because it's like the officials allowed the team onto the field to give me love, man. They didn't give us a flag or anything because they knew what the moment was. I played for survival. I'm not that weak dude anymore. That's my mentality, and I credit that to the game of football. I want to make sure that my mom made the right decision. I'm not a mistake. I'm making good of a tragedy. I'm making good of something that haunted her for so long. I consider myself a survivor because I was able to accomplish a promise that my mom made me give her. With everything that myself and my family went through,
My experience, he was always angry.
I was able to withstand.
I'm 100% proud of us, extremely proud. He came a long, long way. I didn't even realize all the stuff he had in, and now I understand. Oh, I get it. I get it.
I did okay. I did all right. And for that, I have peace. I have some peace in my heart.